Hi, my name is Andrew, and my thesis presentation is going to focus on the processing of acronyms. So my main research question is, how do word, pseudoword, and non-word acronyms compare in terms of ease or speed of processing, and how do acronyms compare to their fully written counterparts? This mostly relates to lexical access, but also touches on other topics like ambiguity and language learning. Acronyms can be broken down into three main categories: word acronyms, such as the WHO, which shares its orthographic representation with the word WHO; pseudo-word acronyms, such as NATO, which is legal in the English language, but does not share its representation with any existing words; and non-word acronyms like FBI, which is not a legal word in the English language. Acronyms that share their orthographic and sometimes phonological representations can create ambiguity because they function sort of like homonyms or homographic heterophones. Additionally, some pseudo-word acronyms are so widely used that they become words like laser. The study Kroll and Stewart discusses L1 and L2 conceptual and lexical links. Non-word acronyms may function similar to L2 words because their character strings like FBI and WWF are not legal words in English. Since they cannot be lexicalized as quick as legal L1 words, non-word acronyms may be processed slower, where pseudo-word and word acronyms can form lexical links like any other L1 word. I hypothesize that pseudo-word acronyms will be the easiest or fastest targets to process while reading because they are orthographically and phonologically legal when compared to non-word acronyms and are less ambiguous compared to acronyms which share representations with pre-existing words. Similar to the Fedjikina et al. Study that looked at the restructuring of miniature artificial languages, I propose that the participants, who would be monolingual native English speakers, would undergo exposure to novel acronyms and their full-length counterparts in a laboratory setting over a period of 4 consecutive days. Participants would be randomly divided into 4 groups representing word acronyms, pseudo-word acronyms, non-word acronyms, and full phrases. The phrases and acronyms would have to be novel to account for previous exposure to already existing ones. Also, the multiple days of exposure and testing would allow for participants to properly learn the phrases and their respective acronyms. The participants would be tested at the end of each session with contextual eye-tracking reading tasks to identify processing time based on fixation duration on the target acronym or phrase, and regressions would be monitored to observe for the effect of ambiguity. This is an example novel acronym and its fully written form that could be shown to the participant and its contextual reading task that could be associated with it. Based on my hypothesis, I predict that pseudo-word acronyms will have the lowest fixation duration and a lower average number of regressions when compared to the other acronym forms. Further, I predict that the fully written phrases will have the least regressions, but have higher durations of fixation. The outcomes of this study would comment on the relationship between novelty and lexicalization and processing. The main goal of an acronym is to increase efficiency while maintaining effective communication, so this study could also lead to further research between abbreviation type and the efficiency or effectiveness of information transfer. This concludes my presentation. Thanks for listening.